everybody. First thing, for those of you who haven't been here, I think most of you have, this is such an extraordinary building. How beautiful it is next door. We're going to be needing another phenomenal building in addition to the college after Mr. Griswold and Mr. Stevens. And I'm looking to see where Mr. Griswold is as he's kind of still there. So let me start this. Let me first say, all of you know Jay, love him. You know that he hates this stuff. He hates having attention on him. So Jay, what I wanted to say to you is too bad. Because this is as much for us to say thank you to you as it is for you. So you're going to have to endure this for a couple of days because we owe you so much. So, as you know, Jay is a Baltimore investment banker, a Washington College parent. You'll hear from his daughter soon. Former board chair, and he served as acting president of Washington College from 2014 and 15. And so we're gathered here on the banks of the beautiful Chester River, in large part to pay thanks to his leadership. And I just wanted to tell one, if you don't mind, and even if you do, I want to tell one personal story about meeting Jay. So I came here on February the 27th, 2015. And I came here because I was going to have my very first interview to become the president of Washington College. Now, as you all know, I didn't get the job that time. I should have known I wasn't going to because they put me up at the Holiday Inn Express. I want to tell you something I remember about Jay. And this tells you everything you need to know about him in addition to the other things they wrote down for me to say. So, February 27th was the night before February 28th. How about that for a math equation? But on February 28th, we had one of the largest snowstorms of the decade here in Chestertown. And so I got a call saying that our interim president, and Ann, where's my friend Ann? And Ann was going to drive up, and we were going to have dinner. And so I quickly looked up Mr. Griswold on Google or whatever, and undergraduate degree from Princeton, MBA from Wharton, one of everything, two of everything else. I thought, honestly, wow, this probably could be a top night. This guy is just an impressive person. And so I thought, say, fine, I'm happy to meet him. He had to get out of town. So he even agreed to come pick me up at the Holiday Inn Express because he knew that I would have no idea how to get, was it the Blue Heron? Yeah. So I gotta tell you, and this is a memory I always will carry, because it's not just who you are, which we're going to talk about in just a minute, it's how you treat people. I will never forget how you treated not just me. Look at him looking down, he won't look at me. I will never forget how you treated me. Extraordinarily kind, generous, but even more importantly, how you treated everyone in that restaurant. Remember, he was so nice to everyone, and everyone liked you. So I knew right away this was the place I wanted to come to. Because if you were the interim president here, this had to be a good place, and that has turned out to be very true. But I'll never forget that. And the other thing I'm not going to go into, but I'm going to tell you, you told me once that HRH was haunted, and I remember thinking that you were probably on some hallucinogens. I had an incident last week, which I won't go into, which I'm going to tell you more than you know. So, Jay is a man of great integrity. He's deeply committed to the community. If you don't believe me, go down to Ellen's. He had his favorite place to have breakfast. Everyone still thinks he's the president, wants to know where he is. He genuinely cares about Washington College. He recognizes his value as a liberal arts institution. He understands our place in American history. And the enormous potential that Washington College's waterfront has, not only for sports and recreational purposes. It's appropriate we gather here just a stone's throw away from the Stevens Griswold Environmental Hall that we'll dedicate tomorrow. Jay's relationship with Washington College began more than 25 years ago when he dropped his daughter Sarah off of us. And thank you for bringing him here. We gave her, I hope you agree, that we gave her the kind of attention that Washington College is famous for. Care and attention, and we try to make absolutely sure she's happy and enjoy the place. Jay was so impressed with Washington College that he agreed to join the Board of Visitors and Governors. Now I'm told that it helped that your partner, Jim Price, asked you to do it. So you had sort of not a whole lot of options, so you said you would. And Jay agreed to serve as on the board and chair the $72 million campaign for Washington College. But before he accepted that position, he pledged a leadership gift and 1 day of his time per week, which is extraordinary. He worked with Dr. Toll, and there are only 2 presidents in the history of Washington College that no one has anything bad to say about. And not me. It's Jay Griswold and Dr. Toll. They loved them both, and the 2 of them worked together. It was a perfect team, and they went out, it was the largest capital campaign in the history of the college, and they surpassed that target by $30 million. Incidentally, Jay, we may be asking you to come back. And 10 years later, he was back in fundraising mode with a new strategic plan in place and a presidential search underway for Mitchell Reese's successor when I met you. Washington College needed him. He agreed to serve as interim president for a single year while the board identified its next president. And over the course of those 12 months, Jay was tireless in his efforts to engage the town leaders to build consensus about the waterfront development. And Jay, if you think you're popular at the college, I can't tell you how popular you are in Chesterton. They love you, and they still do, and they still ask about you. So thank you for that. So he launched the Forge a Legacy campaign, which I think we're going to announce. Where's Susie? I think we're going to announce soon. We just got our final $1 million gift, right, from the Star Foundation. So that campaign is now done. So it's only a matter of days until we start the next campaign. The Stevens Griswold Environmental Hall is the centerpiece of that campaign. It's a testament to the power of friendship and the great respect and admiration we all feel for you, Jay, who was our interim president, but so much more. But as Jay himself will tell you, the student experience here is not just about the environment, and his influence has been extended well beyond the field into the study of history and biology and literature and science and the arts. He's the one who 20 years ago made the connection for us with Kipling Hall, the ancestral home of the Maryland Calvert family, where Professor Rich Gillin, who will speak in a moment, takes students every year. He's the one who helped endow the Center for Environment and Society, and he's the one who has supported every capital project of the past 2 decades, including construction of the John Toll Science Center, Kirby Stadium, and Hudson Post House, as well as the renovations and expansions of the Gibson Center for Arts and William Smith Hall. Over the years, he is credited with gifts to Washington College totaling $2.5 million. Thank you, Jay. But I want to share the lecture now.
What's that George Bush called? Fuzzy Mac.
Well, we can round it up. We can talk. I'm pleased to share that with some of the Jays. Let me first introduce one of his great admirers and close friends, Jay Young, who was on our board of visitors to provide some perspective.
Thank you, Kirk, but apologies to the artist. I'm going to reveal it in advance. This is really what it looks like. Cigar. Thanks, Kirk, for that introduction. During my junior year at Washington College, I did a legislative internship with the Maryland General Assembly, and I had the pleasure of attending the portrait hanging of Lieutenant Governor Blair Lee in the State House. Washington College friend, Governor at the time, Harry Hughes, presided over the proceedings, and his words ring true today: nothing brings out a crowd like a good hanging. For those of you who weren't around when Jay retired as chairman of the board, the seating chart is not your standard seating chart. It wasn't table 1, table A, table B. But instead, they were identified by Jayisms. Jayisms are known by Jayophiles as those fantastic expressions that come out of his mouth involuntarily about every 10 sentences. No remarks about Jay could ever be complete without sharing a few of these gems. If bullshit was asphalt, that guy would be I-95. 6 lanes in each direction. Susie, don't shoot your gun off in the lobby. All hat, no cap. And his favorite, if a frog had wings, he wouldn't bump his ass. He who foresees disaster suffers twice. If you only pay peanuts, you only get monkeys. And when he took over as president, he said to the chairman at the time, we're going to turn this toothpick factory into a lumberyard. I spent enough time with Jay that I thought I'd heard all of these. However, just when I think I've heard it all, he comes up with another one. Just last week, he said to me, I don't think we're getting any traction on this deal. It's like making love to an elephant. Think about it. It is truly my honor and a privilege to be close friends with Jay, and it's even more my honor to have speak these words tonight. I'm an early bird, and he is a habitual insomniac. So generally, we speak several times a week, early in the morning. He's one of those handful of people that I can call before 7 o'clock. And there's nothing better than starting your day with Jayisms. Jay Griswold is just simply one of the finest people I have ever met in my life. Despite appearances to the contrary, punctuated by his lumbering gait, Jay has more energy and stamina than anybody a third his age. About a month ago, he had what had to be about the worst week that anybody could imagine having. His wife Tony had a fall in their Nantucket home and had to be airlifted to Mass General. Several days later, he lost his 2 best friends, George Stein and Patty Nelson, within 2 days of one another. Jay literally commuted back and forth to Boston to help with Tony's care, while at the same time assisting the families of both his friends with all the drama, the complications, the details that surround funerals and memorial services. On top of it all, he then delivered the most amazing moving eulogies at both services. Frankly, I don't know how he did it, but he did it with grace, charm, and poise. It all appeared effortless, which is what he does. Jay is involved in innumerable charitable endeavors. He served as trustee of the Chesapeake Bay Foundation, Living Classrooms, Father Martin's Ashley Fairhill Foundation, the Maryland Historical Society, director of Chevy Chase Bank, and Alex Brown Realty. But with all that, Jay's greatest impact has been as a mentor to innumerable young men and women, not only in their careers, but in their lives. Jay serves as a role model and an example to everyone who has the pleasure of meeting him. He's gone out of his way to mentor a lot of young jockeys, not only from America, but from Ireland and England. Most of these jockeys have achieved great success and either continue to thrive in the sport as trainers or moved on to be very successful business careers. One of these jockeys, Blake Curry, is here with us today to thank and honor Jay. Blake has gone on to become a very successful insurance executive. Another jockey, good friend of mine, is a young man from England who tragically lost his father at a very young age. Jay mentored him, assisted him in bringing him from England to America to ride races. He even hosted his wedding at his farm, Wits End, with Tony. That young man has a successful career with Racing Network TVG. There was another young jockey who Jay mentored named James Spearhoff. I went on a fox hunting adventure with Jay in Ireland. And when I say adventure with Jay Griswold in Ireland, I'm talking adventure. Much like Vegas, what happens in Ireland stays in Ireland. Jay helped mentor Jay from his early years through 2 victories in the Maryland Hunt Cup to become a very successful portfolio manager at Ground Advisory. James always dreamed of hunting in Ireland, but didn't have the wherewithal to do it. So Jay invited James to join us on this Irish adventure as his guest, with the understanding that Jay would assist the old boy with, let's just say, the challenges that were likely to arise when a person of a certain age navigates the wilds of Irish fox hunting. Unfortunately, I got fairly seriously busted up jumping a 1,500-gallon oil drum. Jay immediately dispatched poor James to be my caretaker for the rest of the trip. As usual, being more concerned for me than himself. Rich Gillin, who you'll hear from shortly, a 46-year beloved member of the faculty, received a difficult diagnosis which would require him to travel to Baltimore 3 days a week for extended treatments in the wintertime. When Jay found out about this challenge, he immediately offered Rich and Barbara housing on his farm during the week so that they wouldn't have to commute back and forth. No one will ever know how many similar gestures Jay has made during his lifetime. It would be difficult to know just how many young lives Jay has impacted with his wit and wisdom. I know one thing. I'm one of them. And I'll be grateful to you for the rest of my life. The best thing that ever happened to this institution was the day Sarah decided to attend Washington College. Thank God, Sarah. Sarah had a great experience at the college, and Jay wanted to make sure that that continued so that other students could thrive and have similar experiences for future generations. As President Landgraf said, Jay came on the board in '93, 27 years ago, became chairman in 2001, and served through 2007. He served as campaign chair, and as Kurt mentioned, the goal of $63 million was exceeded by a whopping $103.4 million. Much of that success was attributed to the Jay factor. He not only donated $1 million, but as Kurt said, he said, I will give you 1 day a week for almost 5 years. When Mitchell Reese stepped down as president of Washington College, Jay thought he was finished with us, and we thought we were finished with him, but we all knew better. When Mitchell stepped down, we knew the college needed someone with a steady hand, sage wisdom to guide us through the transition period until a presidential search could be conducted and a new president installed. It was a clear consensus of the board and the college leadership that there was only one person we could trust to take care of the college during this interim period, and that was Jay Griswold. The only soul dissenter to the plan was Jay Griswold. He really, truly was not interested. But once again, his sense of devotion and passion for the college shone through, and he agreed to step in as interim president, and what a colorful president he was. Not long after he stepped in as president, as he did, he wandered down the steps of Bunting to the business office, walking through the halls and just looking around. He walked into her office and plopped himself into a chair, which is, those of you who know him knows, plop is a perfect word, and said to the person behind the desk, what do you do here at Washington College? To which she replied, what do you do at Washington College? Who are you and what are you doing sitting in my office? During Jay's presidency, I was deeply honored when he invited me to stay at the Hinson Ringgold House when I came to town for the board meetings. Turns out, I shouldn't have been so flattered. It wasn't until later I found out that he was petrified to stay in that house alone. He was convinced the house was haunted, and he would not stay there, and at least there was at least a dozen people to keep him busy and take his mind off those ghosts. Now, Jay, I know you hate nothing more than ceremonies like this, but after hearing your heartfelt eulogies for your best friend, I just thought there were things that needed to be said while you were here to hear. So, Jay, on behalf of the Washington College community, as an alumnus and a board member, and someone who values your friendship and cherishes your mentoring, I want to thank you for everything you've done for Washington College, for its students, the faculty, the administration, its coffers, and to those many of that you have provided deliberate, sage, and wise advice. I toast you, my friend, with the Washington College toast. Huzzah, huzzah, huzzah. Thank you. Not so fast. It's now my honor and privilege to introduce Rich Gillin. Rich Gillin is the longest-serving professor in Washington College history. He will retire this year after 46 years of service. I took every class I could from Dr. Gillin. I owe him a debt of gratitude not only for teaching me to write, but also for helping me remember to answer to one of those damn security questions you need to answer to get on a secured website. I always select the question, who was your favorite teacher? And I can always remember the answer, Gillin.
Back in 1997, I was in my office, and in those days I was chairman of the English department and chairman of the humanities program, and the then dean, provost, Joachim Schultz, said, "Can you come over to Dr. Toll's office?" And I said, "Sure, why?" He said, "Well, just come over and you'll see." So I went over and went to Dr. Toll's office, and Jay was there. Hadn't met him at this point, but I had Sarah in the class. In any case, Jay just immediately started talking really enthusiastically about Washington College and how the college needed to get its blood moving. We needed to move ahead. We're looking forward to the new century. Again, it's 97. And we need to get on with things in a great hurry. I said, okay, that's good enough. I'm thinking to myself, okay, so the pep talk was good and it was infectious. You know, I couldn't even help it. Okay, yeah, let's go. I'm on the team. And then he said, there's a place I just discovered fairly recently. He was at a wedding in North Yorkshire, and he became aware of Kickland Hall, which, as Jay mentioned, it was the ancestral home of the Cowden family who founded Maryland. And he said that the University of Maryland has a study center there, and that it's available for our use. Can you think of something to do? And I said, actually, yes, I do have an idea. Back in 1970, Barbara and I, as graduate students, spent 2 summers in the Lake District. It was part of the Total Bible School. It was a conference, really, where Wordsworth's poetry was the center of attention. And so we had an experience there. And during that time, we both said, this would be something we'd love to do, bring students here and come to this place where Wordsworth's poetry is alive and make connections. And so we kind of classes, which made my dissertation chairman kind of chagrined, but we knew that this is a great idea, but also knew that the likelihood of this happening was pretty slim. Anyway, when Jay said, can you think of somebody to use this? I said, where is it located exactly? And I got to be later on, I got a map, and I had agreed. I said, we'll get something going. I came home and told Barbara, and she immediately started contacting people. My youngest daughter, in fact, both my daughters were students at the time, and so through their involvement in sports, Barbara had organized the parents for support after the games. Anyway, she had this whole web of people, so she started calling them all and said, they really, you're sending your child, it'll be a good thing. So we took off, and we agreed to put together this program, and Jay said to me, he said, I didn't think it was going to happen right away. I said, no, we're hot on this one, we want to do it. And so off we went, not really having we had a pretty clear idea of what we wanted to do, but we had lots of loose ends, like driving on the wrong side of the road in American-sized vans, things like that. In any case, we got to Kickland Hall. We fell in love with it. The then provost, Joachim, said to me, you don't have to do this. You don't have to do this again. I said, this is the best classroom in the world, particularly for studying Wordsworth's poetry. And so we did the first year, and then the second, and 5 years into it, 10 years into it, we found ourselves, it was just now the new normal for us. And it brought incredible great joy. In the interim, Jay, we had several conversations about the cost. Everything was going up, no surprise. And I said, you know, when we get up to like $5,000, parents are not going to be able to afford this. And he said, okay, well, I will do something. And he did. From, I guess it was maybe the 5th or 6th year on, he made sure that everyone who qualified was able to go. And I would say there were about 4 generations or 5 generations of students who benefited enormously. I don't need to be bragging, but it was, and I think still is seen as a very valuable program and beloved by the students who participated in it. And this wouldn't have happened without Jay's enthusiasm and his continuing support, and that support manifested itself in other things. He was trying to promote Kipling Hall as a place to be reckoned with in Maryland, and so he invited us to give a talk to the Maryland Historical Society of Baltimore, and John Toll was going as well. Well, I didn't know this at the time, but riding with John Toll any distance was an absolute adventure. It normally would take an hour and a half. We got from Chestertown into the Maryland Historical Society here in Mount Vernon in less than an hour. So we came in shaking and quivering and awkward. And Jay said, oh, what's wrong? So nothing, we're fine. But it goes beyond plain thanks. You've made a difference in the lives of, again, many, many students. There's several hundred who actually participated in the program. And for us, for Byron and myself, it's the highlight, one of the major highlights of our time here at Washington College. And again, it wouldn't have happened but for your enthusiasm and sustaining help. So thank you.
So Dr. Bill, we're going to forgive you for not introducing the next person. That's quite okay because you're retiring soon. So let me invite William Henry Lee Baskerville up.
Appreciate the introduction with all my names. Most people call me Lee Baskerville. Thank you. Now you know all the details about my name, though. But I'm very honored to be here to paint Jay's portrait. He was a wonderful sitter for his portrait because he was busy and wanted it over fast. So I was told, they said you better get in there and get it quick, because he's between horse races where he has horses running and he needs to go. So I come in and he says, well, where do you want to do this? And I looked outside and I said, how about out in the garden? His wife has a beautiful garden. It's a real shame that she's not able to be with us tonight, because that was kind of the inspiration behind painting this painting, having him sit in her garden. And I'm very honored. Actually, every painting is an adventure. This is the second time I've painted Jay. This one was not as much of an adventure as the first time. The first time I painted him, I had a stroke in the middle of it. So I'm very glad to say that it went a little better this time. Is it up to me? Do I get to unveil it?
Yes.
No? Okay, well, let's look and make sure he looks like himself.
Wait.
Not yet. Okay.
I'm taking over again. Okay, so we are going to invite the person who actually we owe the greatest debt to, because without her, we would not have Jay. And actually, Jay, without you, you wouldn't have her. But that's a whole different story, right? Okay, so the elephants or something, right? I'm going to take care of it, all right? All right.
Thank you, everybody. I appreciate it.
Okay, so I'm going to ask Sarah Griswold to come up, make some remarks, and then we'll unveil the portrait.
Hi, everybody. thank you all very much for coming today to honor my father. I'm looking at him and he is still furious with me about when and Susie. Susie called me a couple months ago and thought it would be a great idea, obviously, to have this portrait done of Dad. And so I called my great friend Lee, who I know and has done some paintings for us before. And anyway, the process has been interesting because Dad has been a little less than compliant, but we're here, toothpaste is out of the tube. And anyway, so I just wanted to thank everybody for coming here today in the Washington College community for your extraordinary recognition of my father's presidency. Specific thanks to you, President Landgraf, and the members of the Board of Visitors and Governors for allowing me to be here to express my family's pride and appreciation. From the time I was a student here at Washington College, my father fell deeply in love with this community. And I think the reason he did is it brought out a certain authenticity in him that he connected to, and certainly connected to the mission of the college. And as we have discussed, and Jay has mentioned, this is very painful for my father to be sitting here. He really would rather have his toenails pulled out than be publicly or even privately receive any recognition for his accomplishments. Because he really is, I believe, one of the very few individuals who actually operates from his heart with no reward in mind. If he believes in someone or something, he will invest. And once you've actually felt that investment, you feel its immeasurable impact. He is authentic, kind, fair, immediately disarms you with his wit and charm and highly inappropriate jokes. But to know him is really to know a man of true character. He shows up for people and places that he loves, and that I feel is the truest mark of an extraordinary person. Perhaps akin to Teddy Roosevelt's description of the man in the arena. Dad, you are certainly not the critic. You are the man, in the arena, fighting and spending yourself for a very worthy cause, Washington College and its community. So to know that your service and talents have helped shape this gem of the school into what it is today, we are forever grateful. And to my great friend Lee for honoring my father with this beautiful portrait that you will soon see. Please raise a glass. Dad, you are, as many people often refer to you, just simply the best.
Jay, if I could get one of my kids to say 1/10 of that, I'd be a happy person. So congratulations. So what I'd like to do is invite you up, Jay. Come on up. And ask the daughter and the artist to unveil the portrait. Be looking at it over here. Get over here. Come over here. You're good. Focus, Joseph. That's awesome. Take it on.
Ready? Yeah. 1, 2, 3. There you go.
Yeah. Thank you very much. So Jay, I'd like to offer you a chance to make some remarks.
I'm completely overwhelmed. I have no idea what to say. Lee, did I talk to you about the deal? 10% commission on everything you do goes to me, right?
Sure.
No, it's wonderful. Thank you all very much for doing all this. And really, I think the message is that, look, Washington College is a very unique place. And it's going through, it's no secret, it's going through some very difficult times. And when my daughter told me about this, I said, for God's sake, don't spend the money on something like this. Give it to the endowment or something that, really has an impact. And because it is going through some tough times. But just and I'm looking around the room to see who's Frank Cregan over there. I see Joe Holt and people and a few others back there. Sean O'Connor, my God. These are not the first difficult times that Washington College has gone through. And in fact, when I first got on the board, and you're right, Jimmy Price talked me into going on the board because he said it's time for him to get off and for me to get on. And daughter Sarah, who was not in those days, shall we say, a fully formed adult. She's nowadays a fully formed adult, and can't believe how old she is. And it's in large part a result of her experience here at Washington College, because when she was here, I think the student body was kind of like around 850 or 900. It was tiny, and but what it produces, there's some special mix here, because what it produces is these outstanding kids, and they take raw material and really shape it. And I'm looking around the room, and all you people that have a little bit of gray hair, or a lot of gray hair, Teresa, and not that you have any gray hair, it has an effect which is really real, and much more so, I think, than lots of other more theoretically prestigious places. And that's why I got involved, Kirk, because I thought it was something very unique in the mix here of the environment and the people. And I went to Princeton University, and there are probably 2 people in my class that I would care to see again, and not many professors either. So I see the tremendous bonds that are formed here, because it's small and personal and the family type atmosphere, and you got to keep that. And it'll come back in the boat, and we just got to get this little bridge crossed to the next phase of all this. But thank you, Jay. I got all those comments. I mean, I thought, because I, as you know, had to do this for my best friend, eulogy, and so I sort of think it's like you were giving my eulogy. I mean, would you mind doing that when the time comes?
I tried to get a super.
Yeah, you got to do it. Well, you hit it. So thank you all. And Lee, it's such a good portrait. I think maybe 20%, instead of 10%. And any future artwork that you do would be great.
invite you back up to revise your remarks. So,
He's not a fully formed adult.
and I see that Mr. Griswold has his hand on his coat, which is how he signals that he's now ready to move on. So let me thank everyone for being here. Please enjoy the refreshments. Come up and take a look at this. This is a beautiful picture. Thank you very much. And please stop by and give your regards to Jay. And again, Jay, thank you for everything that you have done for this college. You're a wonderful guy. You're a wonderful friend. You're a wonderful person to be associated with. Thank you very much.
How you doing?